Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Bailee joining me. Hi, Bailee.
Hello.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video on how to deal with your feelings and your negative thoughts. We feel that all too often, people say to ignore them, but I mean, we do sometimes always need to look at the old story, to revise the story, to create a new story, because those thoughts are gold. And we're going to explain all about that. Just before we dive into it, we are having a contest. Oh, and we have a success story too. We do have about no contact. So if anyone's been in no contact, this is also going to help you. We also have a contest going. We get to 100,000 subscribers. We're giving away some coaching sessions. Check the description down below, as well as Bailee has coaching available at a discount right now. She's having a sale. Everybody loves a good sale. So definitely check it out. Her coaching is pretty much half price right now, pretty close to, so not going to last very much longer, but definitely check it out. And yeah, let's just dive right into this. I'm excited to hear this. I think I always see comments of we've been in no contact. So I think this success story is going to help a lot of people.
Yes, and I know it will. I'm super excited to share my success story. I do see oftentimes a lot of no contact situations. And my success story today that I'm excited to share about was a client, her best friend at the time, and her were in no contact. So my client, the story of her best friend, someone that she thought was a sister. They've been friends for over 2 decades. This was someone that would never do her wrong, and this person was just golden in her eyes. Well, she had an experience where she felt like this was the ultimate betrayal between her and her friend, and it's a story. So I don't want to get too much into detail over it, but just know this was something she felt was something they couldn't come back from. And so I first started talking to her. We went over her story of working around her general beliefs around friendships and just her trust that she has in people in general. And whenever we were talking about this, we realized that she has a very dominant belief in people only staying in contact with you for their benefit. You can't really trust anyone. People are always having selfish motives. She would always say that, growing up, her family would always like, you can't trust anyone but yourself, even family. And so she really had a negative story in regards to feeling secure in relationships and friendships because she just felt she genuinely could not trust anyone. But this person, she did feel she could trust, but because of that dominant belief, she had to show up as someone that was being selfish and not trustworthy. So we started working on her story, and we said things like, we only attract friendships that feel good to me. People are always mutually beneficial in our friendships and relationships. I'm so valued and people love to be around me. My energy is unmatched. They're the best times with me. People go above and beyond for me, just to make sure that she feels secure in knowing that people do this because they genuinely want to get to know her and they genuinely want to have a good relationship with her. So we had to get the idea of people being trustworthy out the door with that. And she was doing really good with that. Her affirmations, she was seeing people conform, and she was getting a lot of movement. But she came to me and said, I keep thinking about this argument. I cannot get this old story out of my head. And I keep having very, very intrusive thoughts. And, she would find herself getting really panicky, and she would get anxiety around these thoughts. I'm doing so good. So why are these thoughts coming in? I'm doing everything right. I don't understand. And so I felt with her, I had to explain that it's really important to address our feelings because we have to remember our subconscious beliefs are the things that are manifesting. Our conscious thoughts are just a preview of where we may still need to unblock a couple of our unlimiting beliefs. And it's our triggers. This is what we know that we're needing to work on. So being able to check in with those intrusive thoughts and feelings and then flip them. Because we always want to know, these are always messages. These are signals coming to us about what we need to work on and where we're not seeing our ideal version, right? This isn't our ideal reality if I'm having these thoughts and feelings. So the whole point of affirming is what I was telling her is, we're reprogramming our entire mind based off of doing this. We're going into a whole old story pushed out. I'm completely changing my story with affirming. And so I've realized with a lot of clients, even myself, our first reaction to having a negative thought or an unfavorable circumstance pop up is fear. we're immediately so scared, and we just have this anxiety pit in our stomach, and we're kind of really on edge about it. But you can't fight negativity with more negativity. You know, you have to find words that feel good to you. And the best way to be able to eliminate feelings is by remembering you are the consciousness that witnesses these thoughts in your mind. So you're having the ability every time they come up to choose to succumb to negative thoughts or choose to succumb to new positive ones that we want to reinforce. So every moment is an opportunity, you know, to witness your negative thoughts and forgive yourself and choose again. You know, I'm really sorry that I chose this reality for myself, and it's okay. I messed up. We're human. We're learning, you know, manifesting and being able to understand where we're coming from by consciously creating. We have to learn. We're still learning. We're always learning. And I think it's really important, you know, to give yourself grace in that moment. Yeah, I had some negative old thoughts, and that's really not fair to myself. So you have to just be forgiving with yourself and then choose again. Choose the story that's favorable and stick to that story and stick with that and keep persisting in it. So after those talks, she kept up with her mental diet, you know, telling her the story that felt good to her and reminding herself of her power. You know, I'm the creator of my reality. Whatever I want, I get. Even saying things like, my negative thoughts never manifest. I only think thoughts that feel good to me. And she really stuck on those affirmations whenever she would be in those triggering moments of reminding herself and reiterating that she's the creator of her reality. She's the one doing this. And yes, she created unfavorable circumstances, but she knows she's getting out of them. And by saying that, she received a text from her best friend, and she apologized to her. She told her every new story. All of her affirmations were coming out from her best friend, and it matched her new story completely. So she was able to dismiss all of her negative thoughts around trustworthiness and being able to trust people. And I'm really excited for her because, you know, getting that from your best friend, someone you hold to high value, she was so confused on how she created this for herself. And we were able to really uncover all of her blocks that she had in regards to trusting and people in general. And also, whenever she is in those triggering moments, she knows now how to work through them better and how to make herself feel confident as the creator and allow herself to be in touch with her feelings. Because, you know, we're going to get these negative thoughts. We're going to have intrusive thoughts sometimes, and we're going to have the anxious pit in our stomach. But being able to, it's all how we react and respond to that, and being able to be positive in it and saying, okay, this is what it is, but that's the old story because the new version of me doesn't experience this. And being able to immediately flip it and affirm against it. And, you know, those feelings are going to subside and your reality is going to conform even quicker. So just knowing that, you know, every moment is a new opportunity to begin again. So don't run from your negative thoughts and feelings. Just direct them and flip them. And you're going to see a huge movement with that.
I know, you know what, and that's so true. Like when we make a declaration for something, and we say, look, you know what, I intend to be in a relationship, your brain is automatically going to go, you need to change this. They're not even blocks. They're more like opportunities. Your brain, when you make a declaration for, say, getting in a committed relationship, all the story that's blocking you, your brain's going to be like, you need to deal with this. You need to deal with this. And it's helping you. It's saying, please deal with these pre-programmed things that we have in here that for us to get us to there. And a lot of the times our negative thoughts are going to come from previous experiences, you know, previous encounters with people, you know, throughout our whole entire life. We kind of paint all these things onto us. So, you know, it's doing us a favor. And you know what, if we just acknowledge them in the moment, they're not going to manifest. And if we start worrying that we're having these negative thoughts and we're trying to like ignore them, we're just giving them more power. You know, when I get a negative thought, I'm like, thank you so much. That's right. I totally forgot I thought that. Okay, boom, here's my new intention. Like for instance, when I went to go play bingo, it was just quarter bingo. The most you win is like $11, but it's fun, right? You just bet quarters. And I was playing with my mom and Andrew, and I was like, I was for months, I wasn't winning anything. And I was like, I sat there, I'm like, why aren't I winning? And then I'm like, I wonder what my block is, right? And all of a sudden, this guy sitting at the end of the table, he's like, well, I know why I don't win. And I'm like, what's that? And he says, because gambling cuts into my drinking money. And I was like, oh my God, I said that like when I was 20 years old because my friends wanted me to go gamble. And I tease, I'd be like, oh, it cuts in my partying money, haha. Because I don't like gambling. Like at the casino, I'm just not a gambler. And so I was like, word for word. And I was like, So then I went home and I was like, wow. And then that whole week is like, no, you know what? I make more than enough money gambling to pay for anything I want. I make lots of money gambling. I always win at gambling. Gambling actually makes me more money than I've invested into it. And I just started doing this. And then sure enough, I was the first person that won in bingo the next weekend. I won a whole $11.75. And damn, I was happy. But, you know, when we get those nuggets of our negative thoughts, either we hear them or somebody repeats them to us or wherever we hear them from, they're doing you a favor. Your subconscious mind saying you wanted this, and this thought, this belief is standing in my way. And, you know, your subconscious mind, when you have a thought and your subconscious mind actually accepts it, that's when it creates a picture, and boom, that's when it manifests into your reality, because it's that picture your subconscious mind creates that reflects out into your reality, because your reality projects that way, right? So don't be scared of them, acknowledge them, but change them. Now, we're not saying, okay, that embrace your negative story and tell the neighbor, the neighbor's dog, you know, the emotional sport raccoon, and then, you know, your mom, and then your sister. You know, it's about, you know, and that's why coaching is so effective, because we will help you take that negative story and constructively change it into a positive story. So it's not about going and complaining and everybody and saying, I'm embracing this negative story and I'm going to like own it, right? No, you know, own it enough to acknowledge it, to change it, because those thoughts are actually gold. Those are your blocks and they're your opportunities to change them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree with that. You know, we don't want to dwell on these feelings and these negative feelings. We want to get rid of them. And the only way to do that is sometimes you just have to address them to figure out what it is. You know, whenever some of my clients, I will have them write out their negative old story and then flip it completely. What do you want? You know, what is your current reality right now? Because a lot of us, I think, we're so caught up in the circumstances that whenever we're telling the old story, we don't see anything but that story. We're not even able to see our new desired reality as something obtainable because we're so caught up in this negative story. So really, it's just like a one and done. You know, I'm going to say my piece of how I feel, but we're going to instantly flip this and we're going to work through it so that I can get rid of that old story completely.
I know, you know what, it always breaks my heart when I hear people say, well, I don't want to talk about my old story. And right there, we're giving way more power to that old story. We're scared to talk about it because we're scared it's going to manifest. We're manifesting it, just being scared of revisiting it. Like this morning, I had to like deal with some stuff, right? And I had this like really bad story. I sat down and talked it out with two people, made some new intentions, and completely recreated somebody within seconds from what my past experience has been with them, because I took the time to acknowledge what my story was, what my negative story was. And then I took the time, luckily I have really supportive people around me, you know, that were like, okay, this is what the new story is going to be. And then it was like, okay, we're doing that new story. And, you know, and so it's okay, you know, and when people are scared to bring up their old story, it's like, but you need to dig into that. We need to know what it is, just enough to change it. So yeah, you know, complaining with your mom about, you know, how the neighbor is, that's not going to help. But if you complain about how the neighbor is to the point where you say, okay, well, this is what I want instead, you're golden. You're seriously golden.
Exactly, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I even experienced that to myself when manifesting. I was too scared to even speak up about the story or what it was that I was genuinely scared of manifesting, that when I wasn't dealing with it. You know, I'm affirming that I have all these things, but I have all this old story that I'm carrying around and I wasn't getting rid of that weight. So it's okay to, you know, vent about it the one time that you need to, just to figure out what it is you need to redirect. You know, we're not complaining to every single friend, calling our mom, grandma, or aunt. You know, you're not going to believe what just happened, how terrible. You know, you just need to have that one session, sit with your feelings, understand, you know, I created this, I did this, and now how did I create that? Because I don't ever want to create this for myself again.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny. This has happened so often. I'll be miffed about something and I'll be like, okay, Andrew, I'm going to vent for 2 minutes and then I'm going to make some intentions, you know, and when, you know, you let them out, it's very freeing, and then let them out enough to acknowledge them, and, you know, and not, you know, bring your story down to the corner store, the coffee shop, or, you know, the bartender at the bar, or the neighbor's dog. I mean, the neighbor's dog, I talk a lot with the neighbor's dog, but always good stuff, right? But you know what I mean? This was so amazing. So guys, you know, don't be scared of those negative thoughts. They're opportunities. Acknowledge them, bring them up in a constructive area, constructive, you know, situation, you know, with people that are constructive, that know the value of having to change that story to be able to help you out and not add to the negative, right? So, you know, until you find people like that. If you have people like that, talk to them to work through stuff, or there's always coaching available as well, right? And there's counseling, psychologists, whatever have you, right? But I mean, you know, there's definitely value in that, and don't be scared of it, because when we fear something, we only create more of it. So awesome. Thank you so much, Bailee. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.